Easy. So thank you guys for showing up. Now in this video, we're going to look at this proposed uh, finance bill. Okay, what the government of Burkina Faso is aspiring to spend for the next 4 years from 2026 to 2030 in matters development in Burkina Faso. Now, if you're new here, kindly show me some love by just liking the video. You don't even need to subscribe. Just like the video. Now, since 2022, when Traoré took office, there has been massive and tremendous growth in Burkina Faso in terms of economy. Now, in a recent development, there's an issue that has come into place that the government of Burkina Faso is planning to spend at least 63 billion US dollars in the next 4 years to develop Burkina Faso. So talk about infrastructure, talk about building of roads, hospitals, payment of salaries, etc. Now, the main issue here is, and this has also been seen by senior economists both in Burkina Faso and in Africa. So they are saying that this proposed amount of money is not feasible, bearing in mind that Burkina Faso is still a small economy and the country is still struggling with basic needs. And mind you, 63% of this money has to come from the locals, that is the Burkinabes. So there, you see, with Traore mostly, he is not a fan of borrowing money for development. That's why we have an initiative by the name Fasomebo. So you can even Google Fasomebo. You can go to the sites in Burkina Faso if you're an African, both in Africa and both in the diaspora. You want to contribute to Burkina Faso's government, you can go to the site, try and contribute to make sure that Burkina Faso is great. So guys, there's this initiative called Fasomebo initiative where both Africans, both in Burkina Faso and abroad, they can contribute to the government coffers so that this money that is contributed can be used to spearhead the economic growth. Now, the economists are against this because they are warning that this is not feasible because Burkina Faso, number one, it is not economically stable because they are still dealing with basic issues such as insecurities within their country. They are fighting terrorists. Burkina Faso, and you remember even Traore himself said that when he took power in 2022, Burkina Faso was way back in terms of development. It was still lagging behind. Actually, he quoted that Burkina Faso was living in the 18th century, yet the world is living in the 21st century. So it was upon him and the government to at least make sure that they are catapulting Burkina Faso's economy to another level. Now, we have seen also massive improvements in the way the country is being run. See, even the mining sector. Look at the gold. The gold is booming. The mining industry in Burkina Faso is booming. Last year alone, Burkina Faso, they did over 90 tons, if I'm not wrong, of gold, something that has never been seen before. So Traore is trying to push this country beyond her limits. And this is what African leaders should emulate. Of course, we have people who are talking negatively about this. And others, actually, they are saying that this is not going to happen. And Traore is saying, look, guys, give me time. You'll see this happening. So it's upon you, African of goodwill, to support Traore by even contributing to this initiative, the Fasomebo initiative, at least to make sure the country is at par and is competing effectively in the global arena. Next, even though most African leaders, they don't recognize Traore. That's why he's not invited in the African Union summits, because he was not democratically elected. Most of African leaders, more so the youth leaders, most of the youth leaders, they are emulating what Traore is doing, and at least recognizing that Traoré is setting up the pace. If indeed Traoré is not a leader, believe you me, he would have been ousted by now. You can imagine all of the coups that have been happening in Burkina Faso. The latest one being on the 2nd day of January 2026. People on the streets, they marched all the way to the presidential palace. These are citizens, students. They were protesting in solidarity with Traoré. So even though most leaders and the Western countries, they are seeing Traoré as a bad leader, the Burkinabes, the people of Burkina Faso, they are appreciating what this gentleman is doing to their country. Recently, he had to ban elections within Burkina Faso. Why? Because he was saying that elections, sorry, not elections, Traoré banned all political parties in Burkina Faso. Why? He was saying that these political parties, they are acting as a hindrance block towards development, meaning the parties were separating people. People were being divided in relations to their party's affiliation. So he had to ban all the political parties. And most of the people are not happy with this. Mostly, you see, even those ones who are not happy with this, most of them, they are not from Africa. Most of them, they are from the Western countries, because they believe that democracy means we must have more political parties. Mind you, in Africa, we no longer have political parties. I normally call them political affiliations. Africa has 54 countries. If I can go through Africa, we have less than 5 political parties in Africa. More of the political parties, what people call political parties, we call them political affiliations. Look, we have what we call ANC, political parties. When we talk about a political party, it must have a root. Okay? These are parties that are well established. They must have roots. They must have a history. In Africa, less than 5 of them. Can you imagine that? So Traoré is on the right track. His proposal in matters development should be seen as a way to at least make Africa great again. And most of African leaders should embrace what he's doing. He has run to the to the Asian countries for help, because we believe that the Western countries, they are not favorable when it comes to helping him. So Traoré must be protected. How? We have to speak about the good things that he's doing in Burkina Faso. And you, as an African of a goodwill, you have to speak positively about Traoré. Share the videos to your friend, like the video, and together we can make Africa a great continent. Thank you for showing up. See you next time.